Guys, it's 2025 and here's the truth. You don't need rich parents, you don't need cable, you don't even need a high-flying career to get rich anymore. I get it, it's tough, but times have changed and I know a lot of people feel stuck. They feel helpless when the reality is there are actually many things that you can do. So the reason I made this video is that whenever I see a post on social media where someone is talking about how well they're doing in their career, or let's say, things that they've bought, things that they've achieved, a lot of people automatically assume things like, yeah, this guy can do it because he probably has rich parents. And I'm not going to deny that, if you have rich parents, if you come from a rich family, then things are obviously easier for you. You're going to have a better education, maybe your parents know the right people, and you can get into very prestigious jobs. Or maybe even better yet, your family is so rich then you don't even need to worry about money, you don't even need to worry about your job. The bad thing about thinking or assuming things like this is that even though you may be right, if you always feel like everyone who is successful only has it because they are privileged, only because they come from a rich family, you will always be stuck where you are. You won't feel the need to try and improve. It'll make you feel like, you're the most unlucky person in the world just because you didn't come from a rich family, or even worse, it'll make you feel like you will never make it in life because the only people who make it in life are people who come from rich families. And again, when you start thinking like this, then you will feel like, it's out of my control. There's nothing I can do about it, and it'll make you stuck wherever you are. You won't try and find a way out of it. Again, I know that on our path to getting rich, on our path to building wealth, it will help a lot if we have a better education or if we have a higher paying job. That will definitely help. But the thing is, and this is the most important part, it is not necessary to have those. The reality is these days, there are many other things that you can do, which I will talk more about throughout this video. The truth is, and I know that some of you guys won't want to hear this or some of you guys won't want to admit it, in 2025, anyone can get rich. It doesn't matter who your parents are, it doesn't matter where you studied, how far you studied, or it doesn't even matter who you are. All it takes is a lot of effort, knowledge, and of course, a bit of luck, and you'll be able to make your way up there as well. For one, technology has taken huge steps and everyone has access to it. Okay, maybe not literally everyone, but in Malaysia at least, over 90%, I think the number is closer to 98% of our population has access to the internet. And with the emergence of AI, things just get a lot easier. I've seen on social media, people start literally their entire business just using ChatGPT, right? From the ideation to the preparation, from actually launching their business, all of that advice comes from ChatGPT. It's actually pretty cool to see. Even for me, I use AI as well to help with my content. It actually helps quite a lot for me. It helps me generate ideas on what to talk about, and it just goes through my script to make sure that everything's on point, and give me ideas on titles, thumbnails, all those stuff. So yeah, all these technologies is actually available or accessible to most of us. And here's the important part. Technology, AI, it is pretty much the same for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're from the US or you're from Malaysia, whether you're rich or you're poor, Google is still Google, ChatGPT is still ChatGPT. It is the exact same thing. And then there is globalization, where everything is just so intertwined these days, and the 2020 lockdowns really opened up, global income opportunities because companies started to realize, hey, actually it's not so bad to hire remote workers, so they don't just hire people from their country. You can live in Malaysia and work for an American company who doesn't mind you, working in Malaysia, but they're going to pay you in US dollars. And obviously that's going to be a very lucrative offer. I have an ex-colleague from back in my first job, and he told me that this is exactly what he's doing. Yeah, his hours suck because, he has to work from, I think, 9 p.m. all the way to like 5, 6 a.m., but he's willing to do it, and he has a very, very high income. Or when we're talking about things like freelancing, let's say you provide a service like, let's say, digital marketing or design and stuff like that, where previously you could only find clients from Malaysia, you can only find clients locally. Nowadays, it's just so easy for us to expand our offering to clients from other countries where obviously they will pay a higher rate as well. And finally, access to investing and trading is just so open these days. I think the barriers to entry to investing has gone down by a lot just because there's so much competition from brokers all over the world. Back in the days, people literally had to call their broker on the phone to place an order, and then they'll get charged like a $50 commission or something like that. Nowadays, everything is so much cheaper, right? You guys see all the platforms that we have just in Malaysia as well. and you're charging fees less than $1 and you can do it directly from your phone. Again, this is an opportunity to build your wealth, and people all over the world have access to the same markets. I know that some people think, right, the ultra rich, they have access to some special, super complex investments that will give them crazy high returns. But the truth is, the investments that we have, retail has, like the S&P 500, they are more than good enough. In fact, if you look at the S&P 500, they have returned an average of over 14% over the last 10 years. That is already extremely good, and that is enough for anyone to build a lot of wealth over time. I can guarantee, right, the investments that these ultra rich people make, they don't outperform the S&P 500 by very much. I am a trader, so I follow hedge funds, I follow their returns and stuff like that, and I know that the returns are not crazily high. In fact, the reasons that ultra rich people invest into hedge funds is more for risk protection and more for diversification among the investments, just because they have so much money and they don't want to put everything into one basket. But for people like us, where we only have, let's say, a few thousand or a few 100,000 ringgit, then it's not really a big deal. We can just, put it into ETFs and let it grow over time. By the way, if any of you guys want to start investing, then check out Mumu Malaysia. They are my favorite broker right now. I am using them for my long-term investments as well. You can invest into Malaysian stocks, US stocks, ETFs, whatever it is. So if you guys want to sign up, check out the link. I'll leave it in the description of this video, and you get some nice freebies by using my link and making your first deposit and trade. So what does it actually take for you to get rich these days? Number one is mindset, and this is exactly why I'm making this video. Stop thinking that other people are only rich just because they come from a rich family or just because they know the right people. Yeah, maybe it's true, but it doesn't matter, right? The only thing that matters is, like I said previously, we can make it too. Instead of worrying or cursing about the benefits that other people have in life, how easy other people's lives are, just focus on what you can do given your current circumstances. When you feel like you're never gonna make it just because of your current situation, just because of how tough your life is, then of course you will just settle with whatever you currently have. But if you think that you can make it, if you think that despite everything you can still become rich, then you start becoming resourceful. Then you start thinking about other ways to make money so that you can start growing your wealth. Number two, you need to build the right skills to help you earn a higher income. Sorry if you guys are thinking that you only want to work in things that you're passionate about, and then your passion is something that doesn't pay you a lot of money, then it's just not going to work out. Coding, design work, being a content creator, digital marketing, these are all things that are hot these days, and you can earn quite a bit of money. I have a cousin, a direct cousin, right, who didn't even go to university. In fact, he just self-learned how to do digital marketing. He started finding clients, and these days he's making the big bucks. And if there's one skill that I truly think will be useful almost forever, right, there's no amount of AI progress that can sort of make this skill redundant, and that skill is sales, knowing how to sell yourself or knowing how to sell things. Whether you are a literal salesman selling cars or insurance or whatever it is, or you're a freelancer, right? Let's say you're someone who does graphic design, you are a digital marketer. It doesn't matter what you do. If you know how to sell, it will really, really help you. The third thing is knowing how to leverage your money and then being consistent with it. So this is where investing comes in. And this is where we can start growing our net worth passively instead of just relying on our hard work, right? Our active income. People have made tons of money just investing into simple stuff like indexes, like the S&P 500 over the last 15 years. And for those people who invested into, let's say, names like Nvidia 5 years ago, yeah, you know what happened. I know, it's not guaranteed that this will continue into the future. In fact, I do think that the current markets is a bit of a bubble, right? Things have just been going a bit too well. But I still do believe that investing is one of the best ways, or actually the only way, in my opinion, for us to generate passive income and the only way for our money to actually work for us. And the final thing that you actually need to get rich is something that I've talked about a lot recently, which is you need to build your risk tolerance and you need to take on some risk. Don't be afraid of failure, just try. It might work, it might not work, who knows? But just weigh the risk reward, and if it's good, just go for it. I'll give you guys an example of this. Let's say, you've been working a full-time job and you're thinking, maybe I should do something on the side. I have some skills in graphic design, so maybe I'll start freelancing and finding some clients, right? What's the risk in trying to do this? Number one is maybe you waste some time, right? You pursue this, you try and find clients, at the end of the day, it just doesn't work out. But what's the reward? What's the upside? The reward is you might make some extra side income, or maybe even in the future it goes so well that this becomes your full-time gig because the income is higher. So you guys can see, the risk is extremely low, it's just a bit of wasted time, but the reward, it has very high upside potential. Low risk, high reward, this is exactly what we're looking for. Having said all of this, I acknowledge that not everyone is going to make it, and you're not going to get rich overnight. It's not like a thing where you just change your mindset and then tomorrow you're rich, right? I know that some people are just extremely unlucky and it's tough for them to get out of that hole. But I know that for most people, I would say 80 to 90% of Malaysians, you're able to do it. Just don't cling on to excuses that's going to hold you down. Basically, what I'm trying to say in this entire video is that in this day and age, there has never been as much opportunities for literally anyone on the streets to make it and get rich in life. So just take advantage of it. Anyway, thanks for watching this video to the end, guys. Give me a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below, what are you working on to get rich? See you guys in the next one. Peace out.